All right, we finally almost made it to the present of senior year. So as my senior year started, I knew that my capstone project was going to have to be a huge focus. It was going to be due at the end of the school year, and it would determine essentially if I passed or failed this university program. I spent a lot of time thinking through the literature review and trying to figure out what I wanted to do after graduation and who I wanted to show the final product to. I was kind of writing it for myself, but also for the world. I needed to be able to show that it wasn't just an idea I had pulled from thin air, but conservation aquaculture and this conservation warehouse was something that had scientific evidence and experimentation backing it. I wanted to use this as proof when I started to apply for grants to fund the project and as a test for myself to see if I'm capable of creating something at a professional level over several years of work. But first things first, as it was Minerva University, I first started by moving to Buenos Aires in Argentina. We lived in a tall building in two-person flats with a beautiful view of the city. Living that high up really gives you a different perspective. Thank you, Argentinian economy, I guess, sorry. Thankfully, I did know Spanish pretty fluently, and I was able to settle in really quickly. And out of all the cities, I think Buenos Aires was one of my favorites. I was able to make a lot of local friends and found out that everyone there was incredibly friendly and willing to talk or help if you asked. I played volleyball every week and got to know the people there and frequently went to the park to just lay in the sun. Not to mention, I was there when Argentina won the World Cup. I was there when the city was silently waiting for the results. I was there when France scored several times at the end of the game. And I was there when a collective roar shook the city after Argentina won. I was in the crush of people parading and celebrating, and it was absolutely incredible. It also took me almost a month to find a fish store nearby, and I was surprised at how it was simultaneously good and bad. So they had a great selection and the fish looked pretty healthy, but there were some mistakes that I saw, like keeping axolotls on gravel and keeping different fish outside their normal temperatures that I thought was interesting. From what I know, the individual care is also not too good. Like the standard is not that high from what I know, and the stores were really hard to find. But it was also the first city I went to that did not have an aquarium. It was the semester that I converted my roommate to start liking fish, and realized that passion is the number one thing that helps with the effort. Even though my roommate wasn't as invested in fish as I was, they learned to recognize all the basic fish, such as bettas, guppies, plecos, tetras, cichlids, goldfish, koi, and, a couple more. But that was really special. This person who had previously had no interest, but because, they liked hanging out with me, started to have that interest in fish, showed me that it doesn't just have to be the hardcore hobbyists. As I was more vocal with my passion, I had people start sending me the welcome to my office meme, dating profiles with fish in them, or best fishes email closing, which was really heartwarming to see that my friends and community supported my passion, even if they didn't fully understand it. Of course, this whole time I was still working on refining my capstone. And at this point, I had finished an annotated bibliography with the sources that I wanted to use, and I had laid out the basic structure that I wanted for my literature review. And it was going to mimic the format to submit articles to a zoological journal, complete with case studies to really drive the point home. When I submitted my first draft, I was really excited to see what my professor thought, and turns out he was not impressed. He knew there was a lot more room to grow and that he needed to keep pushing me to do better. And the rest of that semester passed without incident, and before I knew it, I was heading to Taiwan, which is the last semester before I graduate. When I got to Taiwan, I had to readjust to living in a small dorm room. We shared 4 bathroom stalls with the entire floor and 2 showers, and every single student shared 1 kitchen, which was definitely different from what housing had looked like in the previous semesters, and it was really difficult at first. But during that time, I also started to think more seriously about the future for the database and how I could, potentially make money on it. Thanks to the urging of my professor, I managed to turn Liyue Theology into an official nonprofit organization, and my application for 501c3 status has successfully been sent out, so we'll hear back from them in 90 days. I also created flowcharts to integrate with the database and even apply for my first ever grant, and we'll hopefully hear back from them someday. But I knew there was no guarantee that I'd be able to keep this as a primary source of income after graduating, so I started to look at other jobs. So I hope that this project will take off and that I can dedicate all my time to it, but that kind of depends on you guys. It depends on the people and the community wanting to use this database and to help with freshwater conservation. So not knowing how it's going to turn out, I really started looking at other basic things I could do while still being able to work on Liyue Theology as a project. So things like dog walking, pet care, dog training, foreign language tutoring, or customer service. At the time this is written, I'm still not done. I have 1 month left until I graduate, and I don't know what the future holds. But I do know that I have finished my capstone. The final draft is ready to be submitted, and was submitted, and that it was a wonderful experience. Throughout my college career, I had learned a lot about fish keeping, especially in all these different countries, and I had seen the need for more education and awareness. I hope to make another video soon, kind of updating you guys all on the status of the database, and to be able to celebrate my graduation and birthday with me on May 23rd for the graduation and May 24th for my birthday. I wanted to thank you all again for your continued support and for the community that has really drawn me in and kept me close over all these years. So thank you for showing me what it means to be united for a cause, and how many different people from all walks of life can share joy in something as simple or as complicated as a fish. I'll see you guys next time.